Well, I believe in it, Barry, because
Yeah.
I've felt it myself. I remember early on in sobriety, I was going to make a decision, and then all of a sudden I could hear your voice talking to me, walking me through the process. And I remember calling you up and telling you about this. And you know what you responded was?
Yeah.
So you can feel me inside you finally.
Right.
Yeah. I remember that fucking telepathy.
It's true.
I can feel you inside me. I believe in that stuff. I mean, perfect. That's exactly the way I like it. All right. Welcome, my brothers and sisters, the two old goats. Let's get a little uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah. Come on in. Let's test the water, as we were talking about last week in our Skippy Dipping podcast. I got to get that up. I have it ready to go. It's just, for some reason, I told you what I did. I edited the whole thing. At 2.5 hours worth of stuff, and then I deleted the wrong section.
Oh.
And I couldn't get it back. Usually when I do that, I can get it back right away.
Yeah.
But it took me a little bit to realize it. By the time I realized it, I had to go back to the raw thing and redo the whole deal.
All right.
But that's going to happen, and part of the learning.
That's right. That's right.
And it's just more practice. Yeah. Adds to my 10,000 hours.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I got a bunch of stuff. I got random shit. We can do like a random topic. I can throw some topics at, and let's just, talk what we talk about it, and then move on to the next one.
Did you see what I labeled it? I always label our things just kind of before we go in.
Who knows?
Yeah, I labeled it Skutlebuttin.
Oh, I thought it was labeled Who Knows.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, mine says number 30, Who Knows.
Oh, that's an old one. Yeah, we're on number 39.
Oh, I don't know. This is the one that it shows number 32, Who Knows, on the top.
Oh, mine does too up there. What the hell is that?
I don't know.
Oh, well. Okay. Well, I'll change it all anyway.
All right, you ready?
Before it gets on there. Yeah.
All right. Right off the top of your head, give me your thoughts on electric cars.
I hate that. I hate that off the top of your head.
Just give it to me. Lay it out there. Electric cars.
Electric cars I think they're a good tool for a certain type of driving. Like if you're just driving around town and stuff and you're never going to be on a long trip or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think they're fine. I still have an issue with everybody says they're saving the world and all that with that, and it's exactly the opposite.
Right.
With the batteries and the battery life and all that, you're doing a lot more damage than a regular gasoline car.
Okay.
And I think if listen to Billy Bob's little blast about the landman when he's talking about oil to that chick,
right?
And he tells her it's in everything. It's on the wheels in the car you drive. Yeah, even your car.
Right.
But we haven't found a sufficient substitute for oil and gasoline.
Yes, we have. They just won't tell us.
Yeah. Well, the nuclear, I think what we should be doing right now, and instead of trying to do all this electrical stuff, is they need to be building nuclear power plants. I mean, just turning them out. They ought to be trying to build 100 a month or whatever, whether they put them online or not, but start pumping them out and getting them ready.
Right.
Because especially in Texas, all the people moving here in our power grid during the winter, which is most people's time is during the summer. Sometimes we get bad during the summer, but
yeah.
Anyway, and then when the system goes down, now I have no confidence. And used to, if it went down, it was going to be a day or two. If we had a hurricane or something.
Yeah.
But now it should be a day or two, and next thing you know, it's 2 weeks.
Right.
So
I think there's something else going on there. I don't think that's just we're out of electricity. I think there's some other shit going on.
Well, I agree. And if it is that we're out of electricity, it's because someone planned on that.
Right.
They planned on us.
That's why I said there's something else going on. You just don't run out.
Right. And that's the other challenge, I think, with electric vehicles is we don't have the infrastructure to support the amount of electricity it would take if most people started using electric vehicles.
Right.
We don't have the ability to get the electricity to everybody in all their places in the amounts that it would take. But I think in terms of, I know a lot of people that own Teslas. They're great for driving around town and stuff like that. I wouldn't be on a long trip with them.
Right. Yeah, I'm similar to you. I think electric cars, electric vehicles, it serves a purpose. There's a purpose to it.
Right.
Maybe with that whole delivery thing, electric cars are great. Delivery helps with traffic. I just think there's a place for it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's other ways of doing this more efficiently. But we're just there's the powers that be just make way too much money to pull on the free shit yet.
Right. Well, I agree with that. But listen to Elon, he was on Rogan just a couple of days ago, and I wanted to listen to it just to get caught up on all his Doge activities and stuff like that. And Rogan was pressing him pretty hard on who's the thieves and who's the one, because they know that it's a bunch of thievery going on.
Yeah.
A bunch of money scams, and they know it. And Elon finally told him, I can't talk about that because they will kill me.
Yeah.
And he was dead serious. He did not smile or nothing. He said, they will kill me. And he knows it, and he's worried now. I don't blame him a bit.
Yeah.
So anyway.
All right.
But the biggest problem is it's a tool. That's all. It's a good tool if you use it for the right reason, just like a hammer or anything else. If you use it the right way, the right reason, they're great tools. If you think you're saving the forest and the environment, that's a lie. You're not. But outside of that, I think they're great tools. And I never drove one. I want to drive one because the acceleration on it's got to be awesome. That electric motor doesn't have any slack in it.
Yeah.
So you push it and your head goes back.
Yeah, one of my neighbors had one, and he showed me the power just from 0 to 60, like boom. I mean, it is crazy. I mean, it literally, what it reminded me was a big version of, do you remember we used to have those electric race cars, the track? Yeah. And when you go, it goes.
Yeah.
That's what a Tesla does.
Like. That's it. It's the same thing.
It's the same.
It's just scaled.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it does. It is. And it stops right on the dime too. I mean, it's crazy how amazing that thing is.
Well, they got to probably have a pretty serious brake system because the batteries and all that, I imagine it's pretty good weight load.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And if you get all that weight going, you got to be able to stop it. So yeah,
it's a pretty good deal. I think there's a purpose for it. I'm not saying they're horrible, but I think you hit it right on as far as if you think it's going to save the world, you're so far gone. It's
right.
But it does have a purpose, and make the most of it and utilize it.
Well, they've become very affordable between them working on the price and getting it to be affordable, and then all the other car dealers not giving a crap and their prices shooting up. They've become pretty affordable. The way I grew up with a general manager of Charlie Thomas Ford, my stepdad, and to him it was all about, you figure out what it costs you how much does it cost you even per mile to drive certain cars, or how long you're going to have it. How much what's your cost going to be on transportation?
Right.
It's not, this car's an investment. No, car's an investment.
No.
Yeah, some of the older cars and crap like that, but even those, everybody says this car is worth $100,000. Well, it's not worth that until you get somebody to give you $100,000.
Yeah, it's only worth whatever someone's willing to pay.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. So
okay.
Anyway, that's my thought on that.
All right, I got another one. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
What about living off the grid? No cell phones. No. It's all, self-sufficient energy, food, you name it. It's complete off the grid. Now, I'm not saying you can't have electricity, but you have to have your own way of making that electricity.
Yeah, and that's very doable in certain parts of the country. The no cell phone thing and all that, is that just because you don't want to be tracked or in the system?
Not just off the grid. It's just another distraction. I'm not saying you can't have one, for emergencies to communicate, whatever. But
Right.
it's not something like you and I right now. Shit, I got mine right here, just in
Right.
case.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm talking about that's in a glass box for emergencies only.
I think that'd be good. I would have I mean, if you, and you can do it. I mean, you can design a house depending on where you live, where it's a lot more efficient and it doesn't take as much energy
Yeah.
to operate the house. And you pay attention to where you put windows and how you set up the house. Really pay attention, and you can run a household. That's not off the grid. That's not hard to do. I mean, it's a little expensive in the beginning, but you'll get your money back pretty quick. I would suggest having Skylink service.
What's Skylink?
Skylink is Elon's internet stuff. Like if you go out in the woods or something, it's like a satellite type thing.
Yeah, I heard that wasn't that reliable yet.
Oh, it's way better. Yeah, it's better than regular stuff. He's way ahead of everybody else now on that.
All right. Here in San Marcos, I heard a few people talking about it, and they said it's not up to where it needs to be yet.
It's better than what we have in terms of satellite service.
Isn't it like 10 times more expensive, though?
It's more expensive. He doesn't do shit for free. That's why he got a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've never done it. Some of the guys that hunt, they swear by it because they get out there in the woods and they have a little thing like this, looks like a little iPad or something.
Yeah.
And they can have full internet, everything.
Yeah, this is off the grid, though.
Well, I'm just talking in case you needed to get in touch with somebody or.
Yeah, it's called
You
hop
need
on
to
your
research.
horse and go into town.
Well, dude, if you need to research how to repair your solar panel that got hit in a hailstorm or something like that.
You should have the user manual.
Well, I'm just saying. Yeah. Be a good, you can get off the grid.
Yeah.
That don't mean you have to go back to caveman time.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, you can do that just to torture yourself, but you don't have to do that. You can live off the grid very comfortably.
Right.
Yeah.
Off the grid with the grid.
No, I was just saying having that other stuff for emergencies or enjoyment, whatever.
You need a bullhorn and an ox. That's all you need for emergencies.
Okay. All right.
I like playing off the grid. I like doing that kind of stuff. I'll be honest with you. I'm 50 years old now, and to be running a whole farm, and I'm not talking about going out killing a deer. I can do that still, but
right.
Hoeing the fields and milking cows, and I don't know. I don't know if I could do that.
It's good for you.
Oh, I know it's good for you. I just don't know I can do it at 50 years old. Now, if I would have started doing this when I was 20,
right.
Now that I'm 50, I'd be able to do it because it's muscle memory.
That's the exact. You nailed it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, you could do it. The problem, you could do it right now.
I could.
The problem would be the consistency. Could you do it for a month every day?
Yeah.
That would, after a couple of days, you're going to be hurting physically.
Yeah.
And so, but like if you were in tune for it and you've been doing it for years, one of the lines in Born to Run that I like when they're out there in Mexico looking for the Tarahumara and they come across some 80-year-old dude that's on this hike because he's just traveling from village to village and he's climbing, basically scaling this freaking 5,000 foot mountain cliff type thing where I probably couldn't do it right now.
Right.
And they go, well, why is that guy doing it? And the guy says, because nobody told him he couldn't.
Right.
And he's 80 years old.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Ed. Well, Ed's different motivation. He's a old jarhead Marine.
Right.
And he just likes the pain, I think.
Yeah. It's all compounding interest, That guy in that book you're talking about, I think it's The Ghost or something like that. That older guy in the book, The Born to Run. I want to say it was The Ghost. But he's been doing that forever. He just that's the way he lives.
Yeah, it was Caballo Blanco.
Yeah, the White Ghost or something like that.
The white horse.
White horse, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's truly needed to live completely off the grid nowadays, but I do believe living out on some property where you can hunt your food and fish your food. And I think that means a lot more. I think there's a lot more. I think like you and I were talking about, when you start carrying your own water, it starts tasting a lot better.
Yeah, that.
So
and you appreciate a lot more. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So like, I'll give you, for instance, when Jake got his deer his last year, well, not last year, the year before that, I'm not a big fan of liver. I just don't think it tastes good, and it's, but when he got that deer liver and we cooked that up, and he was like, just try it. It was one of the best tasting pieces of meat I've ever had in my life. It was amazing. And
Right.
I think there was multiple factors there. One, I was in a place that I have a very deep connection with up there in Wisconsin in the woods. I've been going up there for 2 decades hunting up there. And so I had that deep connection. And then, of course, it's my son. It's his first deer. There's just so many things involved with that, hell, it could have been the deer's testicles and it probably would have tasted great, But it was the liver and it tasted just fine.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you. I'm not a liver fan.
Yeah. You're not much of a fan of a lot of stuff. You don't like salmon. You don't like liver.
Yeah. Salmon's too fishy.
You just got to learn how to cook it right, brother.
I know all that.
Yeah.
I was in that world for a long time.
Yeah.
I never liked it.
Are you a cod person? You like cod?
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Cod tastes like butter without butter.
It does.
Yeah.
I like cod. I like halibut.
Halibut?
Man, halibut is awesome.
I don't know much about any of that.
It's big white meat fish.
Yeah.
Big, thick. They're good stuff. You
Okay.
can get it.
I don't know if I've ever had halibut. My version of fish for many, many years was Long John Silver's. That's really all I knew. Fish.
Yeah, you were eating stingray.
Hey, that was some damn good stingray. Put a little malt vinegar on there. That's some good fish.
Bless.
I didn't know any better.
Well, that was the old joke for scallops.
Yeah.
Scallops are a shell animal.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people go, because, when you order a thing of scallops, there's a whole bunch of them. But
yeah.
That was the thing. The old myth was you just get a stingray and get a cookie cutter.
There you go.
Make your little scallops out of.
Probably tastes about the same.
I don't know.
I've never had a scallop where I went, oh my God, I got to have this again.
Now, well, that's on my list of crap that I don't eat. Because when you eat a scallop, it's gritty and sandy taste. To me, it has a sandy texture.
Yeah, that's because that's what it eats.
Yeah, I hate that. That's why I don't eat them. What else I found out I don't like?
What's that?
When I got sober, when I quit drinking, raw oysters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I used to think I really liked them. And whenever I quit drinking, I hadn't had one since.
They're not good.
They're not good.
No, not
at all. And I challenge anyone who loves them, okay, eat one without putting all the crap on it.
Yeah, there you go.
The cocktail sauce and horseradish and lemon.
The butter.
The lemon juice, that's an old custom. And the reason they used to put lemon on it was because they were taking it straight out of the bay.
Yeah.
They would put lemon on it to minimize the bacteria or whatever.
Yeah.
An oyster has over 30-something different forms of bacteria in it.
Yeah. Every time I've had an oyster, well, sober, you're right. When I was drinking, dude, I thought it was the coolest thing to eat those things, put Tabasco on it and all that stuff. And, give me a dozen, Now it's just, it literally tastes exactly like when I have snot in my mouth.
Right.
It's the same thing, same texture, same taste. It's a little salty, a little gritty, Yeah.
Well, the other myth about oysters.
Well, they're supposed to make you horny or something like that. It's never worked for me.
It really doesn't work like that, but what it is, it's a psychological thing.
Yeah. Like a placebo?
If she'll put that in her mouth, she'll put anything in her mouth.
All right, I can hear that. I can hear that.
Yeah, that's the truth. And
All right.
what does that guy say? And now for the rest of the story.
There you
Paul
go.
Harvey. Paul
Yeah.
Harvey.
And now the rest. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Imagine what else you'll do.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's go on. I got another one. You ready?
Yeah.
The prison system in the United States.
In the United States?
Specifically the United States.
What do you want to know?
I had thoughts. Throw some out there. I want to hear it.
Well, it's horrible.
Okay.
First of all, it's a big for-profit thing. Most prisons are privately owned. So there's, people make a crap ton of money on it. There's zero rehabilitation going on. I say zero. I never have seen any. I've heard stories of people, and I do know some people that got sober in prison and stayed sober. Not many. I know a few. But they probably got so, and if you talk to them, they probably got sober in spite of being there. I mean, getting them there, it was, Jones calls it a good place to start over. I think that's what he calls a jail cell.
Okay.
Andy Andrews, Just Jones.
Yeah.
You read it when he meets the girl in the jail cell and he tells her, oh, this is a good place to start.
Right.
But I think the rest of it, they're poorly run overall, and because they're run for the wrong reasons. And
right.
I think there's a better way to solve the problems. Other countries have already, first of all, 100%, maybe more than 100% of people have drug and alcohol problems that are in there.
Okay.
Or psychological problems. It's one of those three. And the reason I say over 100% is because you have to consider some of the guards and the people that work in the prison and then the people who come visit the prisoners. So it's over 100% when it's all said and done, in my opinion. But people go in there and they get worse. They don't really get better, most of them. And it's because a lot of times if they're in real prison, they're trying to survive it. And it shouldn't be like that. But other countries, back to my point, other countries have taken on a whole new way of treating drug and alcohol people instead of just throwing them in jail. That's the other thing about a big part of the people in jail are in jail for marijuana violations and stuff like that, which is stupid to me. Marijuana, from what I can see, it's not as harsh as alcohol. I know people who smoke and have smoked my uncle smoked all his whole life. And, he had to quit drinking because of his pancreas, but he's still smoking. Right. And he's 70-something years old. So, and he's different. If he smokes a little bit, if he hadn't been drinking, he's a different person. But when he started drinking, it's different.
Okay.
Is my point behind that. But anyway, too many people in there, and the better way to handle it is to deal with the people's drug and alcohol problems. And a lot of other countries have gone to, they'll identify those people, and the people that want help, they get them housing. And it's on the state, and the states or whoever, the country, they're spending the money on the housing. They spend the money on the treatment. They work to get them off the drugs. They don't just say, oh, you're out. You can't be in here with drugs. They medically get them off and all that. And a lot of people think that's expensive. They go, oh, that's got to cost a lot of money. You're giving them free housing. You're doing this and that. Yeah, but they're in a program. They're not just sitting around on their ass. It's probably a lot like the Texas House.
Right.
You know what I mean? They run a great operation over there. But anyway, they rehabilitate people, and a lot of people think, well, crap, that's expensive. No, it's not. Actually, you're saving tons of money by not having to pay for them to be in prison, pay the prisons, pay the guards, not to mention all the stuff they stole, broke, families ruined, personal property lost, whatever, not to mention all the damage that we do when we're out there on the streets. You're saving money. If you take them in, and that's what I think about prisons. I think there's a need for them, but not the way we do it.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I hear you. I think there could be a different way. I mean, I do believe there are some people that need to stay in there.
Right.
It has nothing to do with drugs and alcohol. They're just people that need to be confined.
Right.
one thing that I've learned over the years is the amount of freedom that people can handle. And the truth is none of us can truly handle 100% real freedom.
Yeah, well, we're not designed for it.
No, not at all.
We're herd animals.
Correct. But we're not supposed
Pack
to have
animals, whatever.
real true freedom. We're not supposed to have that. But there are some that need to be a little bit more with a regiment, with boundaries, with bars, with whatever, for whatever reason it may be. But it doesn't need to be in a violent situation. It doesn't need to be with the drug cartels and the gangs running it. It doesn't need to be like that. I think a lot of it would be. I think it should start off just like going into your first AA meeting. Is sit down with someone first and foremost, find out if you're a true criminal.
Right.
Right.
Well, and that's a good point, because it's scary to me to think how many people are in there that shouldn't be in there.
Right.
Because we hear about it all the time. People who really didn't do whatever they were accused of.
Mm-hmm. And
even now they're finding a lot of times where certain, I guess, district attorneys or whatever they are, they're supposed to share all the evidence.
Yeah.
Where a lot of evidence was held back just because they wanted their
conviction
prosecution record to be real high or whatever. But there's probably a decent number. I don't know what it is.
I don't think it's that as big as people say it is. I think there's the majority of the people that are in there is they actually did a crime.
Yeah, well, probably, but I think it's a significant number.
Yeah.
I relate it to this. There's people in AA that have been going to AA for years and saying I'm an alcoholic. They're not. I mean, but the way it's defined in my book, they're just not.
No, I hear you. But you don't have to be an alcoholic to be in AA.
That's right.
It says that.
That's right.
Only thing you need to have is a desire to stop drinking.
That's right.
So so I think that it should be ran that way. You walk in, you get convicted of your crime, you meet with an AA sponsor.
Right. Congratulations. I'm going to be your sponsor.
Yeah. And they ask you a few questions, find out what the truth is, and then they ask you, do you want to do something different?
That's right.
If you don't want to do anything different, go on and go enjoy. Good luck.
Go.
Right? You want something different, you have to commit. You have to submit. Are you willing to submit?
Right. That's it.
I think that should be the end.
Yeah. Well, one of the big things that they're doing, these other countries and that I'm talking about, I wish I could think of them off the top of my head.
I think you're talking like the Sweden, Norway, places,
probably
Scandinavia, shit like that, right?
It's more Scandinavia type.
Yeah.
Maybe Denmark. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Something like that. But one of the big things is, it's like I said, it's somewhat like the Texas house. Those guys they have to work, right, to support the Texas house for a while. And then after they get so far along in the program, 6 or 8 months, whatever it is, and they're doing good, well, then they can go get a regular outside job. So they're taught, they're given the structure, and they're really rehabbed, so to speak. And if they know that this is getting better. This is getting better. I'm learning more. I have a future. I can start seeing a future.
Yeah.
And that's one of the big things that they're having success with. When people realize, okay, they're kind of they're giving me job training.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see a future here. I'm going somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have, they quit. They don't have any drug problems. They get through the program and they go on.
Right.
And you talk about it's ridiculous to think that that's expensive. When it's all said and done, you save so much money and heartache.
Oh, absolutely. If you look at the bigger picture,
right.
It definitely, I mean, it's another productive person in your tribe.
100%.
So
that's the perfect way to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I like that. Well, that's what I think about prison.
All right. Cool.
I don't want to be there. If it wasn't for shoddy police work, I would have been there.
No, I hear you. I can't tell you how many times I probably should have been there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got pulled over a couple times when I said, I'm not even trying to hide it. There's no sense in it. I'm going. Then I even had one guy pull a half bottle out from under the seat, and he holds it up to me like this, and he points to the seal. He said, the seal is broken.
Mm.
I said, yes, it is.
Yeah.
And he said, this is illegal to have in your car. And I said, well, you're welcome to keep it.
Yeah. You didn't give him the look. You didn't go, what?
No, I didn't. Like I said, I was already like, I'm going in. And then they said, where do you live? Next neighborhood on the left. Get your ass home.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I told you my story about getting out of a DUI once.
Yes.
Yeah. I could share it with the audience.
Yeah, you need to start from the beginning.
All right. Well, first and
With
foremost,
the color.
before
With the
I
color.
begin this,
And we need some smell-o-vision
yeah,
here.
before we begin, I want everyone to understand I do not condone drinking and driving. I was a pretty messed up individual back then. So I'm going to lay that out first and foremost before I tell this story. All right. So it was up in Wisconsin, and I was driving home from a fraternity party in a blizzard. It was in January or February. I can't remember. I was coming home from a fraternity party back to my apartment. And on my way, keep in mind, it's a blizzard. It's almost a whiteout. Okay. It's like freaking 20 below zero, snow everywhere. I'm driving this old blue Pontiac 4-door Grand Am. And I'm so drunk, I have to cover up one eye because I can't see the line that I'm following.
Right.
Because there's 3 of them if I do 2 eyes. So I had to do the one eye, and I'm driving. I'm probably going, I don't know, 15 miles an hour. I mean, I'm not speeding or anything because I can't fucking see. And sure enough, cherries are in my rearview mirror, and I'm like, man. And I was like, I'm screwed. I mean, I've been drinking since yesterday. I mean, there's no way I'm going to get out of this. I can barely stand. I can't see. I can't talk. My stomach started rumbling. I was like getting all nervous as he was walking up. And all of a sudden, my dingy little light bulb popped up and goes, here's an idea. And I did it. I did my idea. And what happened was, you got to think about this. It's 20 below zero outside. It's about 80 in the car because I got the heat going. So the cop comes over. And what I did was I shit myself, and it wasn't good. This is from a couple of days drinking, so that was not a normal shit. It was not very good. And when I rolled down that window and that cop got that plume of shit, methane gas, Jesus Christ, son, what the hell? And I go, I'm sorry, I'm swerving because I got the diarrhea. And he goes, where do you live? And I'm like, just right there, sir, right. The apartment's like 2 miles down. And he goes, get home. God damn, boy. And I rolled up my window and I got home. I had to sell that Grand Am. I couldn't get the shit. I couldn't get the shit smell out of the car. But I did not get a DUI.
Yeah, I was going to say that car was never the same after that.
No, that was a bad deal there. That was a bad deal.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. That's like Ron says all the time. We're smarter than the average bear. We spend a lot of time with our back against the wall. We're going to figure it out.
Well, absolutely. Well, that's why, we talk about, when you're drinking, you're trying to get out of right here, right now. Well, in that moment, I was right there, right then. There was no other way. I was in the moment at that moment. Yeah. And that was, I love it. Yeah, it was a bad deal. I'll be honest with you, man. It was a lot worse the next day when I went back out there to the car.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Let it sit.
It was a bad deal, man. Well, I was 3 sheets to the wind, so,
it wasn't so bad.
It wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
But when you go back out there hungover.
Yeah. Yeah. You got what that cop got, plus a little more.
Yeah. So that's when I told that car, I got to let you go.
Right.
I got to let you go.
Sorry, babe.
We had a good time, bro, but we got to go.
Yeah.
So
that's good stuff.
All right. You ready for the next one?
Okay.
Aliens.
Okay.
Talk to me. What do you think?
I think a lot about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it.
Okay.
The problem is, I have the problem that a lot of people have, I think, is I want to believe in it.
Okay.
And if I think about it and I think about how big the universe is, or whatever we call the universe, it's more than one, I promise you.
Yeah.
I don't know why we call it uni. That means one verse, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it's huge. And I mean, so far apart, I don't see how that people could travel that far. I mean, Musk was talking about going to Mars, and just going to Mars is 6 months in a spaceship that could blow up at any second. I think it's possible. Part of me sometimes thinks, heck yeah, they're here, and they're living amongst us, or they're whatever.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think that, because I see some really strange people.
Right.
I mean, hell, Elon might be an alien. Who knows?
Right.
Smart as that dude is. But, and then a part of me thinks, yeah, there's been some type of connection. I don't know that we could communicate, or that it would even look like. We think it's going to look somewhat like a person.
Yeah.
You don't know. It might just be a blob, or I forget the name of the movie, but they were insects or roaches or something in the Men in Black. Yeah, you remember Men in Black?
I do.
That was a good-ass movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be something like that, but we just have no way of knowing. I don't think it. And then a lot of times I just think it's, show me something to make me really believe it.
All right.
And it's always, it's a lot like the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
Or Bigfoot. Tune in. We're going to find Bigfoot tonight. It's like, I'll tune in, and I'm like, at the end of it, it's like, didn't see him again. Right. Dang.
Yeah.
Bunch of liars. And I think it's a lot like that. I don't know, you're out there in the woods and stuff, and you see things you see a big moose or something, where you only see a part of it moving through there, and the way it's moving, I don't know. But I want to believe in aliens. If I had to bet right now, I would say nobody's ever said, here they are. Nobody's found Sasquatch or the Loch Ness Monster or aliens. And I think a lot of they talk about those UFOs that the military people have seen that move so fast and all that. And there could be technology we don't know about, but the way those things move, if there was anything in there that has body type liquid, anything like a body or anything, they couldn't take the G-force of the way that thing's moving. They would be like scrambled eggs in there.
Okay.
So I don't think they're real right now. I want to believe it. And, you catch me on a good day, and I'll talk the whole talk with you.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, and I can prove it. You know what I mean? But when it's all said and done, if I'm just like, okay, well, show me, you can't do it.
I agree. I think people are trying to think too hard on the alien thing with the spaceships and traveling from universe to universe, when I don't think it's that complicated. I believe in realms.
Yes.
And instead of going from point A to point B, we fold it and we're there, right?
Yeah, it's layers.
Right. So I believe that they're here living amongst us already, and they've been here for a long time, and there are people that know about it.
Yeah.
That's my belief. I think the whole traveling to Mars and all that stuff, I think those are all just, it's like, I don't know, like let's say back in the day, you have a cell phone, but you're going to walk 3 miles to go say hi to your friend when you could just pick up the phone. Right?
Right.
I think that's what's going on right now. We're walking 3 miles to fly to Mars.
Right.
When there's technology, we could just flip on the phone and get there now.
Yeah. Beam me up, Scotty.
That's right there. That's it.
Yeah. That's just
it. Boom.
Right.
Transformation. I mean, the reason why I believe that is because I've done a lot of research on metaphysics, just after, reading about Jesus and the abilities that he was able to obtain, being free of all of his human limitations, right? That, if you take that information, the ability, and when he said you have these abilities and then some,
right?
I believe that's what he's talking about. Dude, you can be wherever.
Right.
right? So that's just my thoughts on it.
Okay.
On the
See, there
aliens.
you're tiptoeing into something else
Tiptoeing in the tulips.
that I do believe in.
Okay, what's that?
I'm listening to a new podcast, and I just started, and it's called. You ready? The Telepathy Tapes.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
And really, what it's about is a lot of these people that are, we think they're mentally ill, or we call it the tism. They got a touch of the tism, the autism, or something like that. And we think that they can't communicate. There's an illness that some people have where they're not in touch with their body, like their mind and their soul, their being is not really in touch with their body, and they have a hard time controlling their body at all. And even sometimes what I'm learning is they wear certain things, like they'll wear a big heavy necklace because they can feel it against them, and that's my chest.
Right.
Or they'll wear a bracelet or something that jangles or moves or something, and they go, okay, that's my hand.
Okay.
And a lot of times when they're being working with an instructor or teacher or something, they'll tap them on the hand or move their or kind of get their hand going in the right direction. They're not giving them the answer, but and that puts a connection in their mind. Okay, that's my hand, and my hand needs to go there.
Right.
And we don't think that. We don't even, our hand's already moving, but we don't have a cognitive thought. It's just a response.
Right.
And they don't have that. So through time, we've always thought, okay, well, they're just not very smart. They're not capable. They're what? Well, come to find out, a lot of teachers that work with these people and their families will be working with them, and they'll stop for a minute and realize he's reading my mind.
Right.
And then they get to the point where they can communicate with each other without talking. And it's pretty common that some of the teachers or some of the people have to set boundaries and say, you have to ask to come into my mind.
Yeah.
So I think we can all probably communicate without talking, and it would be so much faster and efficient because language is so clumsy.
Right.
And even whatever language you want to use, we're kind of describing things to put a visual picture in somebody's head, but it's clumsy. We don't even get that close on a lot of stuff.
Right.
We just know it because we've seen it over and over.
Right.
But if you're describing some things to somebody that's never seen it, they can't picture it because our words don't get close. Right. But if you can do the telepathy thing, and a lot of them are different. Some people see it in pictures, or it's just a knowing. And then some people are hearing words or seeing words.
Right.
And stuff like that. And here's the freaky part.
Give it to me. I like it. I like freaky.
Here's the freaky part. Some of them are very good and have been doing it for a long time, and they have their buddies that they communicate with. They may not even live they usually live in the same area, but maybe not necessarily within 15 or 20. They may live way far apart or different cities. Well, somehow, and I'm just learning this, so I don't know all the details, but somehow they've learned that in their heads, they're all getting together and talking. Like we would go hang out, like in high school, we go up to the McDonald's or whatever in the parking lot and everybody hang out and talk. That's what they're doing telepathically. Right. They have a place they go. They call it the Hill.
Okay.
And so they meet there telepathically, and there's actually people teaching there, or they'll be carrying on conversations with people, all telepathically or whatever, however they do it. And they're talking about certain subjects and all that, and some people are well known. Well, they've asked, they go, well, how many people are there? A lot of people across the country that didn't know each other, that as far as we know, never had any contact, are talking about going to the Hill.
Okay.
I think it kind of started in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. I forget the main guy's name. But anyway, they're just going there. And the guy goes, well, there's a lot of people there because there's a lot of different conversations. It's like going to meet with all your friends. there's a lot of different conversations going, like when
like
we meet for coffee on Saturday.
Yeah, the coffee house.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 conversations going on, and these people are talking about that, and then they have their friends that they get along with a lot better. So these group will hang out, but they're all at the same place, and they can hear each other. So it's anyway, the news, they said it was probably like 4,000 people or something usually.
Okay. Well, I believe in it, Barry, because I've felt it myself. I remember early on in sobriety, I was going to make a decision, and then all of a sudden I could hear your voice talking to me, walking me through the process. And I remember calling you up and telling you about this. And you know what you responded was?
Yeah.
So you can feel me inside you finally.
Right.
Yeah. I remember that fucking telepathy.
It's true.
I can feel you inside me. I believe in that stuff. I mean,
I do too. I'm going to start working on it.
Well, you and I read that book, ESP. Oh, that was good. 6, 7, 8 years ago, we read that book. And that was about people. They could ask, 30 years ago on this street in this country at this time, what color was the person wearing in front of the bank?
Right.
And we're talking about somebody that's 18 years old. And they're asking to look back in 1833, like 200 years before they were born. And they knew they could see the color of the person's jacket. Yeah. So, I mean, that's all real stuff. I mean, I love doing those kind of studies. And I think it's all based on the most simplistic form that a lot of people either just ignore and don't think it's that special, but we're vibrations.
Yes, I agree with that.
So vibrations can go through walls, right? This wall up here, our vibrations can go, wherever. Oh, so I think once we can break past our limitations that we put on ourselves, when we stop becoming namers and knowers and just start having an open mind, shit just happens. Yeah. I was a big advocate early on, about when I meditating. You remember when I was doing that? I was my hardest. I was trying to get that out of body thing, right. And, I thought it was all bullshit until it happened. And I was like, oh, shit.
Right.
But I could never stay out of it because I get so damn excited because it happens that I come back in real quick. But all that stuff is true. But I think people either dismiss it or they make it way too complicated. You have to break it down to the most simplest form. Yeah. Because there's no limits on simplicity.
Right.
And I think that's it.
Well, I usually try to throw you a curveball every now and then, see if you can hit my curve.
All right. What do you got?
But on that topic, I'm going to give you a fastball right up the middle.
Oh, I'm going to knock this out of the park, bro.
Here it comes.
All right.
When they're talking about the hill, so to speak, in this area, one of the things is everybody's they're real safe because they're asking, you're not worried about anything happening or somebody being there for the wrong reason. They say, no, it's protected.
Okay.
It's divinely protected.
Okay.
Not just anybody can go in. You have to have the right attitude, the right everything. And it's when they spent 30, 40 minutes talking about it. But what it boiled down to was, guess what?
What?
It was love. You had to be all about love and none of that fear and all that shit can be in your heart. You can't get in.
Okay. You want me to knock this out of the park right now?
Yes.
That's everything in life, brother. That's everything in life. You'll never get where you want to be. You'll never feel safe. You'll never have all that was meant to be if you live in any kind of fear with ego. You have to free yourself. You have to give. How much more can I give of myself in this? And that's how you knock down all the damn doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I decided I'm going to start working on that, and I'm going to start going to absolute love.
Oh.
And I was listening to it on the podcast, and I was driving out of my neighborhood. Some asshole was flying down Loganbow 50, 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And I start cussing him out.
There it is.
I'm like, oh, there went that absolute love right out the window.
I don't think that's God. I think that is love.
Yeah, that could be, but I think instantly it was fear because my thought was there's kids and people walking up and down the street, and this is 35 miles. This ain't. But anyway, you're right. It could be love because I don't
Well,
want
I
people to
mean,
get
if it's
hurt.
about correction to help others, you're still giving of yourself, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's a form of love.
Right.
Hey, man, you know, careful because I don't want you to get hurt, and I don't want you to hurt anybody else, you
Right.
know. But then
See,
when you
that's
chase them down and whoop their ass with a baseball bat, then I think
Yeah.
that's when it stops being love.
Well, you want them to learn the lesson.
Well, some people need the baseball bat.
Or
I'm the
don't
guy
drive in
that
my
needs the baseball bat
or don't drive in my neighborhood anymore.
or that. Absolutely. So,
Yeah. Good stuff.
heck yeah, brother.
So yeah, I tipped my pitch on that one, but that was good. That's kind of what I was looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love talking about love because I think it's so misused. It's so distorted. It's so just, it's not pure. And people just don't. I mean, that's the type of person I am. That's where I have difficulties
Yeah.
when people are trying to share a way of doing something, a way of thinking or whatever, and I ask questions. Okay, you're saying, like in the Bible, when Jesus says, above all things, love.
Right.
And you hear it preached all the time. But then when somebody asks, well, then what is love? And they don't have the answer. Well, it's just a feeling, or, you know, it just means that you really care. And, oh, it's just a joyful, you know, whatever. No, man.
That's
You don't,
not it.
you got to find out what the definitions are before you can do it. You know, that whole, you know, let go and let God. What does that mean? Right? It means to turn yourself away from whatever you're looking at and get busy over there. That's how you let go. And while you're busy over there, it just gets done.
Right.
So it's all about defining. And, you know, I love talking about the truth about love and defining it, giving of yourself to, yes, whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm going to give you something. I'm going to throw a curveball at you.
Okay.
I know what time of the season this is.
Yeah.
And I know you've been living in fear in this time of the season for as long as I've known you. It's called tax season.
Yep.
So maybe this year, do taxes with love.
You know what? That's probably what I need because I don't want to talk about it.
I don't know. Try it out.
You're right. That's it's funny because right when you said that, there was a little inkling in me that said, yeah, try that. Where, I mean, initially it was, yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. It might be a little easier this year with, man, if people started going, like some of these Congress people started going to jail, I'd be excited about doing my taxes.
Well, get excited because I think it's about to happen, brother.
There's so much, I mean, it's so wrong and it's so fear-based the way they do all that and all those people stealing left and right. And I know I shouldn't care because there ain't a whole lot I can do about it. But hell, you run businesses all your life, same as me. And when I see money burning, I know how hard it is to freaking run a business or operate a household. And there's times when there's just too much week left at the end of the paycheck. And it just burns my butt that them suckers, they don't give a crap. They just go, oh, you just print some more.
And that's why you
give it to a foreign country. It's not our money. What do we care?
But Barry, if you ever want to get on the hill, you gotta let that shit go, bro.
Yeah. God, it's killing me. I'm never going to make it.
Hey, it ain't your money anyways, brother.
It ain't yours. I know. You're right.
None of this is ours. I the needle, brother. I the needle. There ain't no way you're going to get there.
That's right. You're right.
Holding on to all your taxes.
I do. You know what? I need more fun coupons. That's what it is.
All right.
That's the way I want to look at money. It's just fun coupons.
Exactly. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. But I get wound up about it.
Try it this year. Give it, because you already know how it's going to end the other way. You've been doing it the same way every year.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Do it with love. How much more do you want from me?
It's going to take a whole lot of love this year.
Give it. Give it all. You got it, bro.
I might be a little behind, so.
That's all right.
Anyway,
That's all right.
Of course, I wouldn't. I'm not. Don't want to make that public or anything. This would be like, what's the old thing whenever people go, I'm not going to pray to God because then he'll know where I am.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to start nothing with the shoot. I'm hoping Trump just gets rid of the whole IRS, and I'm good after that.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
good.
he got
I'm
rid of
I'm
quite a
ready.
few of them, the ones
Yeah,
that
he
weren't
just-
doing anything.
Yeah, if you get rid of them, and and he's talking about getting rid of income tax altogether.
Hey.
Shoot.
But then what are you going to worry about, Barry?
I ain't gonna worry about nothing. I'm just gonna go to meetings and find me some new guys to to roust about.
That's the way it's supposed to be anyways.
Give a hard time.
Giving yourself to that petty shit.
That's it.
But hell, if you didn't give it, who else would?
That's right.
Well,
I don't get too far into it, but I am, be honest with you, I'm excited. I watched the speech the other night to the House and the Senate. That was good entertainment.
Yeah. No,
it was really good. And I mean, I don't know that too much about politics, but I know if I was wearing the one jersey for that one team that was sitting on their hands the whole time, I couldn't wear that jersey anymore.
No.
If you can't be happy and clap for, a kid that survived brain cancer or, just basic American success. If you can't put politics out of the way and be glad for that, I got nothing to do with you.
No,
I mean,
well, that's one of the biggest questions that everyone keeps asking, and that I hear is everyone's so pissed off about all this fraud that these guys are finding, but nobody's pissed off about the fraud.
Right. Well, that's because they're afraid they're going to get killed. Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, but
well, it's not even their stuff though. These guys aren't the ones that did it. It was before their time or whatever. I'm not saying all of them, but there's a lot of them that are pissed off.
You don't want to get on the Clinton list. They got a history of success there. They got at least 26 that we know of.
No, Clinton likes me.
Yeah. Well, you start messing with.
He was my commander in chief when I was over there.
Yeah.
I got in trouble. Did I ever tell you I got in trouble over there?
You're lucky she didn't get you killed. She got a lot of people killed.
Well, I didn't know her. I knew Bill.
Yeah.
This was back.
I like Bill.
This was back when it was Swinging Bill.
I like Bill.
Yeah.
He did some good things, actually.
I thought so.
He really did.
Yeah.
I mean, he did some questionable things, but he also did some good things.
Well, we got in trouble. My little group got in trouble because we had shirts made downtown in Inserlick, and it had the circle with the X in it. It says, "Don't ask, don't tell." And we wore that back on the base. Man, did we get in trouble.
Yeah.
Man, did we get in trouble.
Yeah.
And here's the reason why we got in trouble. It wasn't that it wasn't funny.
Right.
It wasn't that it wasn't true.
Right.
It was because we disrespected our commander. That's what it was about. No matter what, when you're a soldier, you got your commander's back, right, wrong, or indifferent. It doesn't matter. Yeah. That's your commander. You protect them.
What do they say? You don't salute the man, you salute the office or the rank or whatever it is.
The position.
The position.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and I learned that was a good lesson to learn. Because even in the Bible it talks about that. If your master hits you, keep doing your job.
Yeah.
That's your master. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And you'll get yours in the end. You'll get your heaven or whatever. But that's where we went wrong with that. We disrespected our commander, and we shouldn't have done that because it was really funny. It was very funny at the time.
Yeah. Well, it's and truthful, because if it's funny, there is truth to it.
Yeah.
There's no truth to it. It's not funny.
Yeah. It was pretty good. So, all right, brother.
What else? That it?
No, I got
pretty good list.
I got a whole nother page of
yeah. We don't have time for a page.
No. I think this is a nice little potpourri hodgepodge.
Right.
Little set. I like doing this little freelance, free balling type of thing.
Yeah, maybe you can think of it, but I was just calling it Skutlebuttin because I think it was in a movie or somewhere where they were like, I'm just over here doing their little dance, and they call it like, I forget what they called it.
You know what a
But it was like,
scuttlebutt is, right?
it's like a fight or something, isn't it?
No,
Or
well,
a
the scuttlebutt that
debate.
I know of, they don't call it this anymore, but it's from Waffle House. Back in the 80s, when we used to go to the Waffle House, you'd go in there and they would have, now they have the dice, mince, chop, schlop, whatever for your hash browns. Okay.
Okay.
Well, you can order the scuttlebutt, which is everything. It's just a big, huge hodgepodge of, it's got chili, it's got white gravy, it's got ham, tomatoes, jalapenos, mushrooms, 3 kinds of cheeses, bacon, sausage, hash browns, eggs, scrambled eggs. I mean, it's got everything.
Right.
And it's a mound like this on 3 loads of hash browns. I'd walk in there, I go, scuttlebutt, and they'd bring it. But now you go in there, you say scuttlebutt, they look at you all weird. We ain't into that. Is that part of the LBGTQT thing, scuttlebutt,
No,
whatever?
yeah.
Well, I have no idea.
Well, that's exactly what we've been doing, so it fits.
It's everything. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I love it.
So
Well, good stuff.
cool.
Okay, man. Well, I like your new background and everything. I'm gonna have something like that made, but I'm gonna put our, like you have that flag.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put our emblem
Ooh, that'd be nice.
on part of it, and I haven't decided what to do with the rest of it. Kind of use it as a backdrop
Okay.
thing.
Well, you want me to make you one of those?
Yeah, if you want, that'd be cool.
I can.
You know who has something kind of like I like is what's his name? His podcast is called This Past Weekend. The dude from Louisiana, the guy that has a lot of times has the mullet.
Is it Theo Von?
Theo Von.
Yeah.
I like a lot of stuff. I like his music.
Yeah.
And I like he has a something like you do behind him that has his podcast thing on it.
He doesn't have a buffalo pizzle behind him.
No, he doesn't have that. So, or I don't know. He's changed his studio a couple times lately, or I guess he's just going around doing them. I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, I'll make you one of these. I'll get it all set up. And then Amy's got that cricket. So we can do our emblem.
Okay, cool.
Because now that we
got
it
going. I want to
do
some shirts or something.
Yeah, we're going to do shirts too.
Okay, well, I wanted to do something too for work. Okay. Anyway, we're getting into other stuff.
Yeah.
We ought to cut this off. I may cut some of that out.
Sounds good.
Okay, man. Well, let's let these people go and we can talk for a minute.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Peace out, y'all.
All right. Thanks. Y'all get out in the sun.